Good afternoon. Hope everyone is well. Hope you've all had a good week and a good weekend. And we're back doing some carving. Just going to go through all of our checks just to get us started, just to check everything's okay. I didn't want to press that. Hang on, excuse me. We got that wrong a second, so... There we are. Yeah, that's all working fine. So I can turn that one off and I can concentrate on what we're doing. So you may notice from the title of this one, we're looking at St. Dwynwen's. Might be a bit of a surprise after Thomas Woodcarver shared some of his thoughts on St. Dwynwen's last week. You'll have to check out last week's live streams to find out what Thomas Woodcarver thought of it all. But it's something that we do sort of build towards. That's the first date in the diary in many ways for ourselves here at our family workshop. And to demonstrate something today, we got this bespoke love spoon. And to be honest with you, I already spent quite a lot of time working with this spoon. And there's quite a bit of scroll sawing in it, and there's quite a bit of work. I'll show you after the work that we've done already on the bowl of the spoon. Quite a job, yeah. But what we've got on there, just to go through, we've got Clifton suspension bridge. Worth having a little look at that one if you get a chance on the internet, with the hot air balloons. And then I think it's the River Avon that that it sort of goes over. So looking down the river then, and then either side, we've got the banks of the river. We've got a date just underneath, an English lion. We've got the hearts entwined together. We've then got the Welsh dragon. And what we've already been working on, we've got that one there. The bowl, bit of an unusual bowl. They've asked us to do it in the shape and style of like a leaf. So something different, something we wouldn't normally do, but as you know, we like doing something different, we like a challenge. If you can hear some sort of strange, scrapey, sort of scratchy noises, that's because outside Dad and my brother Matt, they are working in the car park there, so they're working hard in the car park. So you will hear some background noises today in the live stream. Right, so let's get started. Let's get carving. What we're going to start off doing is working on our hot air balloons and the suspension bridge itself. So the basic shape, of course, we've got that already from the scroll sawing. And I've created like the basket of the hot air balloon and the little strings that connect it to the balloon, and then the hot air balloon itself. What we're going to try and create the effect of whenever we're doing this, so if you're new to carving, if you're interested in carving, if you're learning carving, whatever it might be, yeah, what you're sort of doing quite often, you're working in levels and in layers. So for myself, because we use, for doing our videos and things like that, I always sort of bring the comparison with Photoshop. So when you're working on a photo in Photoshop, you can work in levels and layers, and you can build up a picture, and add words, add text, add backgrounds, add all sorts of different things, put two photos together, maybe change the background. You work in layers, and it's the same for us then when we're doing our carving. We're quite often working in layers, and so for instance you have to decide which parts of the design you're going to bring out and which parts of the design you're going to push back. So starting off, the hot air balloon, I want them sort of pushed back in the distance. But you'll notice that we've got different size ones. So this one in the middle, that I'm just going on to do some carving on, that is not going to be pushed back as far as the other layers. So we're going to push these two hot air balloons further back in our design than the one in the middle, because it is that much bigger than the other ones. So yeah, they were asking me if they thought that the noise would be coming through with the live stream. Hopefully it's not too bad, the background noise. But they are putting down new chippings in the car park itself. So we just got the hot air balloon. And again, when it comes to that, the strings then, the ropes that attach the balloon itself, they're going to be pushed further back than the balloon and the basket itself. So that's what I'm just starting to work on, is to just try and get the levels that we want for the design. That's probably the biggest part of the style of carving that we do, is to get those different levels, those different layers. Right, so we've got the first balloon, again, that basket we mentioned. The idea, what I'm trying to create is that the balloon then is behind, it's off in the distance behind the suspension bridge. And in terms of developing this, you know, you can find designs, you can look at pictures, that sort of thing, and then you're developing the design from that and trying to make it practical and hopefully to get to a stage where it will work effectively in wood. So yeah, so pushing those different layers back and bringing those other parts of the designs out. Same again, just dropping that all back down into the wood, just like so. So that's the first part, and that's one of the nice things, and we've said it a number of times through our live streams, is doing bespoke love spoons. The reason we enjoy it is because it gives us the opportunity to carve things that you wouldn't normally do. And that's a big part then of what we can offer, is being able to give people a design that is quite unique and often quite personal. And that's the Lovespoon tradition in a nutshell, is telling stories, talking pieces. That's what we describe them as. So people will ask, you know, why have you got that carving on there? And so you can explain the story, explain what it means. And quite often, one symbol will mean one thing to one person, and it might mean something completely different to another person. But it's a personal thing. There we are. I pushed that one. I pushed it quite far back. And that's basically what I was talking through. The reason that I'm pushing it quite far back is because we want to create that effect that is sort of off in the distance. So we do the same with this one here. And because this balloon is a lot larger, that is not going to be pushed as far back as the other ones. It just adds depth to your carving. It adds depth to your design. So you're adding that sort of, you're adding that interest to it. Other things then that we're working on, the wood that we're using is a piece of mahogany. So that's the wood of choice for this particular one. So it was felt that a darker wood was more popular. Interestingly, and I don't know whether it's going to carry on, but I would suggest that going into 2022, so far this year, the mahogany has been proving a popular choice, which is interesting because up until this year, it is normally the oak, the lighter choice that people are going for. But so far this year, we seem to be having a lot more interest in spoons made from mahogany. And we always stress then that in terms of sourcing the woods, we're getting it from things like old furniture, old buildings, fixtures, fittings, that sort of thing. And the oak, again, we can get that from old furniture. For anyone then who is learning to carve, it's always preferable. Hello, just see the carvers joined us there. Hello, thank you for joining us. Now you've joined us, I can say to everyone as well, well worth checking out the Carvers channel. New videos gone up on there. If you want to see a little church mouse being carved, nice demonstration and explanation of the process of carving it. And you can hear the carver singing as he's working, which is great part to the video. Yeah, definitely worth checking out the carver if you're interested in learning different processes, because it's always great. We all have different methods of holding our projects, different methods of cutting things out, so check it out. The carver's already got the channel going, and hopefully it's the start of a growing channel that will keep growing and growing into the future. But yeah, definitely check out what the carver's up to. So far there's 2 videos on there. There's the first one showing how to carve a little owl, and then a little mouse, which I was explaining to the carver actually that it reminded me of Mousy Thompson, which was a famous furniture maker in the north of England. In Kilburn, I think it is the name of the place. And would do a lot of furniture, a lot of church work as well, and always carve a simple little mouse on there. Also, a good little part of the demonstration is to see what happens when it goes wrong. So yeah, you'll have to get across there, check out that demo, and find out what you can do if something goes wrong, how you can rescue your carvings if needs be. So you can see we're getting the depth as well, just on this button on the top there, for hanging the Lovespoon upon. Are we going to work on that third balloon? Yeah, I think we will. This one, as I've been saying, I'm not going to push it as far back. The reason I'm not going to push it as far back is because these are a lot smaller than this one. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, that one is going to be... It's obviously a lot closer to the bridge. So that one I'm not going to push as far back. And the one thing I've got to remember now is the patterns that we've had. That one's going vertically, that one's going horizontally, and this one's going vertically and horizontally. So that's the designs that we got on there. The suspension bridge as well, it's just this one here, it's just outside Bristol. We see it when we're going to and from the airport, Bristol Airport. Clifton Suspension Bridge, and it's quite a famous landmark. And at different times they have the hot air balloons in and around the bridge. Now this has been as well my, we're just going into my second full week back, and we've been doing a lot of bespoke carving. So over the sort of Christmas, New Year time, we've had quite a few requests, which is good. And yeah, it's good fun because you're carving all sorts of different things. Let's just drop that one back. Now it may be, I think now, because of the depth that I've ended up going to on this one, I'm now going to have to push this one further back. And the one on the other side, we're also going to push that much further back down into the woods. So this is where you have the wood with a certain amount of thickness to it, so you can work on those different levels and different layers. It's kind of like doing a picture, painting a picture, building up. We always say that it's in some ways the reverse in a way, because you know, if you're painting a picture, you're adding layers and levels and, you know, brush strokes to a canvas. When you're doing a carving, you're taking the wood away. So you're taking away that waste wood that you don't want until you've created the design that you're looking to create. Other little practical things for anyone who's interested in having a go at doing carvings themselves. We marked out, as we always do, with a vertical grain. You want a sympathetic piece of wood. So for instance, on the weekend we had a gentleman in here and he was asking us what sort of woods are suitable for learning. So we always sort of say that the basswood, the flowering lime, is a great wood for working in. For anyone who's just starting out, that's regarded as like the beginner's carving wood. Not one of my own favourites, but we're talking about anybody who's just starting out. Things like the teaks and the mahoganies, they carve nicely too. Fruit woods, apple, cherry, pear, plum. On top of the noise as well, where they're working in the car park, I got a squeaky chair. So that's the other noise you might be able to hear in the background. Is my chair squeaking away. I think it's under a little bit. It's under a few kilos, a few pounds more pressure than it was before Christmas. So we're gonna have to start dropping a bit of weight. So it save my chair. Hello, Stephen. Great to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you everyone for joining us as well. Let us know, yeah, if you're there, if you're watching, let us know. And if you've got any questions about what we're doing, about the carving that we're doing. This one here, Clifton suspension bridge we're working on today. Well, not literally. We're doing the carving of it. And the hot air balloons in behind it. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. And any questions, any thoughts, let us know. And it's always great to hear from you all. So you can see we're just shaping that one. I'm in two minds now. It'll make it easier for sanding that if I come round there. But I've got to remember the sequence. I've got to remember the sequence of the three, the patterns on them that I've drawn. So if I drop that one down, see, and that's virtually finishing it off. I'm starting as well. Okay, we'll start at the top. Oh, hello there. We've got another comment there. Hello from Germany. Where's everyone from? Just out of interest. We got a bit of a mix here. I won't speak for others. If you want to add everybody else, if you want to add on there where you're from. Myself, I'm here in West Wales. Bit of a chilly West Wales today, but expected for the time of year. So we're just between the areas we're in the, right in the sort of southwest of Pembrokeshire, southwest of Wales in Pembrokeshire. Lancashire, Stephen, so north of ourselves, and but on the north of ourselves, but on the same island. And we got a few others. As I wait for the carver to share his location with everyone. And we'll also ask as well, anybody else? So we got Yorkshire and Lancashire, mixing the roses. And then we got Virginia, Pearlsburg for the carver. So yeah, so a bit of a mix of everybody from everywhere. And I got to ask, whereabouts in Germany? My favourite bit of kit to work with, and we do many videos demonstrating it, is the Hegner. A great piece of German engineering. One that I highly, highly recommend. And it's quite interesting because I think sometimes there is a thought that because we recommend it so highly, we got some association with Hegner. No association other than using their scroll saw. Does a great job for us. Oh, hello there, Kevin. A donut, Norfolk. Nice in Lancashire. I'm from Bournemouth. Very nice. The south coast Bournemouth, I think, isn't it? So wow, that's a bit of a mix from all over there. Yeah, we're right in southwest Wales. not far from the main sort of centre that people are familiar with ourselves in terms of location is Tenby. Nice little seaside resort. So you can see what I'm doing. The reason, just to explain to you why I've done it like this, is by carving there, I can carve around the top here. And what that's going to do, that's going to make it easier for me to now sand and shape the balloons. Hello there, Matt. Hello from Williamston, Michigan. Well, that's interesting because down the road, we're in a little hamlet called Cold Inn. But the next hamlet on from us is called East Williamston. And then on the other side of what they call locally the River Cleddau, there's a place called West Williamston. And the story goes that locally is anything with the TON on the end is, I think it's the Viking links for homestead or something, I do believe, but I may get corrected on that, but yeah. So you'll see a lot of places around here. Lovespoon, which I always thought would have been a better location for the Lovespoon Workshop. You've got Jeffreyston, Reynoldston, and that's apparently where it goes back to. TON for homestead, I think it was. So yeah, you can see we've got that depth. We've got that pushed right back, and it just allows me a little bit more room then. It's a little bit more easy to get in now and to sand our balloons. Just by taking just simple little methods like that we use, you know, just to make the carving process a little bit easier, just by getting that piece away, because we're not going to keep that in the carving anyway. So we remove that piece, shape all around the top, and it just allows the sanding process to be done far more easily. As from the title, the reason it's our St. Dwynwen's video, despite Thomas the Woodcarver's reservations about St. Dwynwen's story, it's St. Dwynwen's Day tomorrow. So that's a bit of a Welsh Valentine's Day is the 25th of January. So that's why this one is based around St. Dwynwen's. But the Lovespoon we've chosen has got influences from Bristol, also England, with the English lion on there. Bristol with the suspension bridge. I'm just deciding as well what we're going to do. I know what we're going to do. We're going to finish off. I think it's best to finish off our balloons. So our hot air balloons, let's get them done first before we go on to anything else. So carving like this, you know, it's a challenge, and as you're going along, you are sort of deciding on the method and on the process as you go. But a lot of what we're doing, see, is freehand carving. So it's not as if there's a right or wrong as we go. Let's have a little look. I think we're using, as well, if you're learning carving, if you're interested in the wood carving, we're using all sorts of what we refer to as fingernail gouges. So you're constantly deciding which is the best shape and which is the best size for a particular job. And then in terms of working with them, we're using that cutting angle. You can use the reverse edge, you can use the standard cutting angle as well. And that's the thing, there's not a right or wrong with a lot of what we do. You find methods to suit your own techniques and apply them to your wood carving. In terms of safety, that sort of thing, we recommend then holding the wood in some way. So we prefer not to hand hold what we carve. We prefer to hold it in a vise as a general rule, or we also suggest if you can't hold it in the vise, or if you haven't got space for a vise, then hold it using a clamp. That's the other method that you can use. And I know the carver, well worth checking out his video, because he had a few different methods that he was using to hold it. So you can see we're just putting, what we're doing is on the actual balloons themselves, we're just adding some extra little bits of detail. So quite often that can create more interest in the design itself. And we're trying to make our 3 hot air balloons slightly different. So this one we're going to have those horizontal lines, this one vertical lines, and the final one we're going to have both. So the main balloon in the center is going to have vertical lines and horizontal lines at the same time. Right, slightly larger gouge for this one. It's a larger balloon, and I just think that larger lines will work better. Also as well, the other gouge that I've been working with there, it's smaller, but there's a little bit more of a sweep on it. I think it's probably a number 4. Is it a number 4? Yes, that's number 4. And this one, I believe, is a number 3. And those numbers, when you see the numbers on the gouges, it refers to the amount of sweep. So every gouge I've ever seen, correct me if I'm wrong, but every time I've sort of had different gouges, the higher the number, the more of a sweep that it'll get on it. Well, let's have a look bit. If you look closely at my left hand, you can also see the particular method has not always been wise in the video. I'll have another look. I'll have to check out in the video. Happens from time to time. Yeah, this one thing, that's why we always, for anyone learning to carve, that's why we suggest it, holding it in the vise, is to try and avoid little slips. And we always sort of suggest carving away from yourself. And the irony of that is, as I'm saying it, I'm carving towards myself. Used to have somebody used to take us for cricket, and they used to say that the moral of the story is do as I say, not as I do. And it comes into with the wood carving. Basically, what I should do, see, is when I do those cuts above, as I'm cutting down like that, when I'm doing that, I should turn it round in the vise, but it would just slow down the whole process that much more. A lot of it as well, it just gives you good control. So basically, if I'm holding, see, if I hold when I carve, and there's no right or wrong, and that's the thing, you'll see the carver holding it to carve, and it works effectively. But with this, I can guide with the one hand and push with the other hand, so that it's a sort of coordination between the two hands. But ultimately, there isn't a right or wrong, and you must use the techniques that work for yourself. That's the reason that we demonstrate different methods and different ideas. When it comes then to the gouges, we often get asked about what we prefer and what we work with. So we're working with vintage gouges. That's our own preference. You will get good quality modern gouges, but they're quite often, there's a lot of the modern gouges are not as well made as the vintage ones. And then when it comes to the sharpening, we work with a tall neck. So I've seen a few photos recently of a few gouges where people have said, oh, I'm struggling to get an edge on them. And I've asked them to send me a photo, and immediately it quite often it'll become clear that the gouge itself, it isn't sharp. So sharpening is an important skill to develop. And there we are. So we're just finishing off the little bits of detail on those hot air balloons. And now we finished those, just like so. That's the last little bit of detail. Just in there. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, now we've got those hot air balloons done, we can move on to something a bit different. I slipped once from my right hand. Ooh. Now I'm left-handed for many things. Safety first always. Yeah, I mean, this thing, the different kit that you work with, and it's so easily done. And my brother now, just before Christmas, he was working on the, he had a nasty one on the circular saw. He had a bad kickback. Not nice. Not nice. He hadn't been on it again since. That's why basically myself, when it comes to working with the circular saw, I leave most of that to my brother and dad, because if I can avoid using it, I'm afraid I do, because you can get some nasty injuries. My friend, he's a fabricator, and he uses the what's it called, is it the spindle molder? Ooh. And that I don't like, because that sort of pulls you in towards it. So my favourite piece of kit for working on, as you'll probably all already know, I like working with the hand tools, and then the other piece of equipment that I enjoy is the scroll saw. But the scroll saw, it's such a nice piece of kit to work with that you're not really, it's not a, how can I explain, it's not a really aggressive machine. Although, again, my brother was telling me that he had a bit of a nick on it, and he showed it to me. It was quite a nasty cut that he had from it, but quite unusual to have any significant injuries from it. I'm wondering, now it's all gone quiet out there. They were scraping the car park. They're putting down new chip-ins. So our family workshop, to give you some idea if you don't know, over the years, we mainly have sort of coach groups, visitors, and we explain the tradition, we explain the process, we demonstrate the process. So it's all free. People come in, and, you know, so we got a shop here, so sometimes people buy spoons, that sort of thing, other things that we've made. If not, as long as they've enjoyed it, great. And so we have a car park then that's big enough to get a few coaches into. But what happens, we fill the car park with chip-ins, and as they drag back and forth over the chip-ins, it just drags them away, and we, over the years, you end up with a bit of a bare car park where there's no chip-ins at all. So every now and then we need a new load of chip-ins and refill the car park, and it all starts again. So that's what Dad is working on with my brother Matt, working on those there. Rather than me, because it's a bit chilly out there. Happened first day of lockdown too. Oof. Was the best time to choose. Yeah, wow. Not a nasty little one. We use routers. I tell you where we use the routers. We use it to take off the bulk of the bowl, so we get a basic outline that we can work from. Because when you're doing bowls, there's a lot of time spent working on them, and because we're making so many Lovespoons, we make, and when we say we make, we're hand carving, so we make from start to finish somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 Lovespoons every year, including all the bespoke ones. And it's such a lot of time that you spend doing it. The router just helps us take off some of the pushing, so it just reduces a little bit of the time that we're pushing on Lovespoon. So basically everything you're doing when it comes to carving, you know, you're guiding and pushing all the time. So if you can just take a little bit, we can save ourselves a little bit using a router. That's exactly what we do. So we're just shaping as well as we're going along. We're just shaping that Lovespoon as we go. So just getting the shape on it. I will concede as well, there is a chance with this Lovespoon that I won't get to the end by the end of the live stream. We'll see how far we can get. But it is an intricate design. We're also shaping across the top. That's the style that I like. I like to bevel everything off, round it all off, and then afterwards I'll hand sand it just to get a smoother, just to refine that finish. So we've got the top then on those. Going back as well to the making of this one, we cut out the basic shape. Oh, hello there, Sawyer Rob. Thanks for joining us. A router is one of my favourite tools. I have several of them. Yeah, we got about two or three. Useful bit of kit. And that's what we do. For doing the bowls, we make a template and then use the cutter on the template just to just to get the basic outline. We used to use it to do, we had a template like for a heart. So if we were making one design, we were making a lot of them, you could cut out a basic heart using the router as well. It's a useful piece of kit. But we tend to do that sort of thing now more on the scroll saw. Let's just have a little look. So we got some shape on that one there. It's quite delicate, these sorts of things. Going back to the making of this one. So when we were cutting it out, I did all of our sort of basic, you know, this is the process we use for anybody who doesn't know. To get a basic shape, a lot of that is done using the scroll saw. So to get this basic outline that you're seeing, that's done then on the scroll saw. And then afterwards, to give levels and to give more interest to that basic profile, we do all of our hand carving. Excuse me, but this particular one, wow, doing all of the scroll sawing here, it is just as well that Hegner is as accurate as it is, because any sort of vibration, any movement on that, and we'd have been messing it up. As I'm carving it, we're starting to go, definitely in these bits here, we're going very, very carefully because it'd be quite easy to slip and break them. I hope that's not going to end up being a famous last words moment, because it's a nice project. It's a nice one to carve, but it's extremely delicate. And I mentioned this a number of times on the live streams. Giving a price for a project like this, unfortunately, it's really, really hard, because as soon as I just started doing the scroll saw, and I thought, oh, blimey, this is not going to be. We're not going to be doing very well in terms of what we quoted for this particular job. But it's so difficult because you're trying to get an idea. You know, we shouldn't. There we are. That's the nature of what we do, and we're pretty good at it now because we're used to doing bespoke work. But you always get caught out from time to time because it's so difficult to price for a job that it's a one-off. You know, I've never carved this particular bridge before, and so you look at it on face value, and what you do, well, you can see straight away that's moving there. So we've got a very delicate patch there. So I've got movement. It's a suspension bridge, though, isn't it? It's going to move. We'll have to be careful with that one there. So we've just got a little bit of movement, so we know that it's starting here. That's starting to break away. There, gone. Right. So when you've got something like that, what we're going to have to do, as carefully as I've been going. It's my own fault. I mentioned it, didn't I? I mentioned about how it could go wrong, so I got no one else to blame. My fault for mentioning it. Right, all we're going to do now, straight away, as soon as something like that happens, drop the whole level back down. Don't mess around, see? Drop it down, just like so. Drop this down as well. In the long run, I think it's gonna help me because it's gonna be better now. I think there's gonna be a better method to do it. That's what you've got to remember. When we're demonstrating the carving, quite often the demonstrations that we do in terms of live streams, to keep them sort of interesting, I'm usually demonstrating something I've never carved before. So that's the exact example with this one. We never demonstrated carving this particular design. So we're learning the process ourselves as we're going along. I count 40 pieces just on what? Right, there we are. Well, that's good to know just how many we've actually got on there.
Good afternoon.
Thomas Woodcarver's on his way in. He's. Have you finished scraping?
No, it's the heading mob out there now. Somebody got to do the hard work.
Absolutely.
Oh, dear me.
He's turned up with a rake in hand. We had a little...
Another 30 minutes and we're ready for inspection.
We had a little bit just pull away there. We did.
Dear.
Very. It's a delicate job. This one, though.
Was it a bridge? Is it?
It is.
I remember the other problem on the bridge and they were building it.
It's a suspension bridge. A bit bit wobbly, isn't it?
Did they transfer some of the materials from another bridge?
I don't know. It'd be interesting to know. We'll have to have a look on the history of Clifton Suspension Bridge, because
I think they transferred some of the materials from another bridge.
Well, there's quite a bit of history with it as a bridge, isn't there? Because
yeah,
they were how many years were they celebrating of it?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if it was 200 years.
Right,
There was a celebration within the last 10 years, something like that.
Right, I better go and spread the chippings.
There we are, and with that, Thomas the Woodcarver has joined us and left. There we go. So he's back onto the chip bins. Right. So when I'm doing this now, because I know we've had that go on us, and I'm going to show as well why I'm not too upset that happened. Simple little things. I'm trying to keep the gouge very vertical. So, doing my best to avoid cutting at an angle. So we're cutting the pressure, all the pressure is going straight down through the wood. So that's one thing I'm trying to do. We're going slowly, we're going carefully. Now the reason that I'm not too upset that happened is because when I'm looking at these pieces on the end, that piece there is sort of angled. That is going to be angled like that. And the one problem I got now is I've removed the detail, but I think it went something a little bit like that. So these pieces, see, they would have been, well, they are. We're looking at this, what it is, these two towers. Let's stop, let's pause for a second and explain. These two towers, they would be angled like at a 45. And so I would have had to have probably gone down to this depth anyway to get that 45-degree angle. I believe then, am I right in thinking there's a little bit of like an arch type design here on that? Well, it's artistic license. It's going to be an arch. You're going to have an arch just going on here. Just like so. And above that, there's an angle again. There's a little, I think it's almost like a squared off piece. We go just about there. And what you're doing, it's an impression. That's what you're doing. It's an impression of Clifton Suspension Bridge, but it's nice to get a little bit of detail in there. And it's nice to try and get it as close to the real thing as we're able to do. And that's all I'm doing. That's what I always see our job as. Is to try to recreate it as accurately as we possibly can. So again, this is the area now. This is the area where it just damaged before. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure I angle that gouge. I'm angling that gouge now almost at like a 45 back towards myself. And that's to minimise the chances of that breaking again. I missed a few comments there. Prananda, thank you for joining us, Aubrey. Oh, we've also got Michael. Prananda, and you are in New York State. Good to know, because Expat Mouse was asking us for where everyone was. Got to sign off. We'll catch up later. Thanks for the info. It was very interesting. Oh, thank you for joining us. Thank you all for joining us. Appreciate it. And enjoy St. Dwinwins tomorrow. So, yeah, we've got... You can also see then, I've got a little bit more wood. It's just when I scroll sawed it, I've left this side a little bit thicker than this side. So it's going to be stronger on that side. So we go a little bit more carefully on this side, a little bit more slowly, just like so. And we're working our way into the center. And we've got a few of these to do. So you can tell, you can probably tell it's a process that requires a fair bit of patience and a fair bit of sort of concentration. Once you've done the carving once, if I get asked to do the same carving again, as long as I remember, it's usually a lot more straightforward. That's something worth noting as well. With bespoke work, pricing is always difficult because you've never done it before. So if somebody comes along and asks me to do this same job again, I would have a better idea in terms of what I need to ask for price-wise because I've already done it once. So that makes life a lot easier the next time round, because we remember somebody says, right, I want Clifton suspension bridge. Straight away I'm thinking, okay, that's not straightforward. The other difficulty with this one, when it came to the designing, ideally I would make the bridge a lot bigger, taller and things like that. But the thing is, the taller you make it, the wider it's getting. And I find after you go beyond a certain width with a design, for me it starts looking a bit odd. So I try my best to keep the width down to like a manageable amount. I have done wider Lovespoons, but I'm not keen on very, very wide spoons myself. So that's something that, what would you refer to? It's the aesthetics of it. I prefer the Lovespoon a little bit, I prefer the Lovespoon to not be too wide, basically. So we've got the same again there. So what I'm trying to create, see, is that tower, that support of the suspension. I'm trying to create the idea that it's at a 45-degree angle, that sort of thing. And it's going to be similar then. We're going to try and do a similar thing with the rock that supports it underneath. Although we're probably going to end up going the opposite way with that. No, we're not. Sorry, I'm talking nonsense. We're going the same way. That's going to be like that. Yeah, that's coming on. I'm. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section. What are you thinking? Is it coming on? Oh heck, holding my breath. If another piece breaks away, considering the design change opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is something that you know, you sort of you're carving away then, and that's the ideal. Unfortunately, though, with bespoke work, you don't get that luxury. If you do make a big mistake, it's time then you're either back to square one, or you're saying to the customer, you requested such and such. We've changed your bridge into a lighthouse or something. Let's hope it doesn't get to that level. I've just noticed as well, in the comments there, we got somebody spamming in the comments, have we? There we are. Good luck with that. I have to go telecom, no problem. Thanks for joining us, so Aubrey. I find that when I have an oops on a project, I call it a revision. Yeah, spot on, Michael. You're in the exact same mindset as ourselves. If it's not a bespoke job like this one, yeah, that's a design opportunity. That is, something goes wrong. How can I adapt it? How can I change it? What can we turn it into? And on that side, over the years, we've actually had some really nice designs come about by making a complete mess of things. So it's always an opportunity. How can you adapt it? How can you change? How can you improve and always just try in little things? Right, so you can see now hopefully we're starting to get somewhere. We're not on that road to nowhere. I'm just about, yeah, I think I'm happy with. I will turn it round because at the moment you can all probably see it. I hope you can all see it better than myself at the moment. So again, this side we do the same. So whatever we do on the one side as general rule, you repeat on the other side. And so we're going to go like a 45 degree again. This piece here, that'll go down at that angle because that's like the concrete support. So the whole idea, see, when I looked at different, and this is something I do when it comes to designing, I looked at a lot of different pictures of Clifton Suspension Bridge, and I looked at how it went together. Cuts are coming through loud and clear. Good. Glad you're gonna. It's at a 45 degree angle, so I'm slightly off to the side, but hopefully you can see it nicely and you can hear each of the individual cuts. Yeah, when it comes to the design, then that's what I did. Is I sat there and I looked at a variety of different pictures of Clifton Suspension Bridge from different angles, and I felt the easiest in terms of carving it would have been to look right straight up what is called the River Avon, and so that was my thought process, is to look directly at the suspension bridge, looking directly up the river itself. That angle I thought would be the easiest for me to carve. Just drop this angle down here. So that's the angle I've gone from. The only sort of difficulty with that then is that there aren't that many images that I found that were relevant then for what I was doing from that angle. Because if you're taking photos and stuff like that, you've got to actually be on the river to take it from this angle. So you sort of work it out. And a lot of our different designs, a lot of things, everything we do, we're always looking for designs. It's a difficult one to explain to others. And when we get requests from people to do different things, I'm always looking for a design that I refer to as a design that works. So, for instance, I got another bespoke spoon that I'm working on, and they've requested hedgehogs. So we're looking for an image of hedgehogs, but I need an image of hedgehogs that's going to work when it comes to wood carving, and not just when it comes to wood carving, is going to work for my style of wood carving. And so that's what you look for. You try different images. And quite often, when we're looking for our image before we get started, you know what you're looking for. It can sometimes, though, be a bit difficult to explain to others. Right. This is coming on quite nicely. I hope it's coming across for everyone watching. But I'm getting quite pleased with the progress that we're making. It's that same old thing that I say every single time. We are trying to create like a 3D image, but we're only working in 2 dimensions. So it's a 3D image that we're trying to create, trying to replicate. And but whilst you maintain that you are working in two dimensions. I like that. Sorry, what do they say? Self-praise is no recommendation, isn't it? Yeah, because I've only just seen it myself, because I've had the camera facing the other way. Because I've had the spoon facing the other way. Good for demonstration purposes, but it's the first time I've seen it in a little while. And you never know how it's coming along until you turn around and see it yourself. But that is coming along. This part now I'm going to go on to in a moment, which is the date. That was quite a challenging piece of scroll sawing. I'm thinking, how many cuts were in that? Let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 scroll saw cuts just doing the dates. And at this stage as well, this is how I go about doing things. I tend to get the bit of the carving done that is most, that is playing on my mind the most. So from here, hopefully, I should become a little bit more relaxed with where I'm going, because I know the other carvings in there, like the English lion, there's a fair bit of carving in that. The Welsh dragon, there's a fair bit of carving in that. These are things that I've had requested many times before. So you know to a degree where you're going with those. But when you get asked to do something very, very specific, you're trying to figure out where you're going with the process, how you're going about it as you're going along. So that's a challenge. It's a nice challenge, but it is a challenge. Yeah, it's coming along. Let us know in the comment section. What do you reckon? Is it looking like a bridge? I see. Oh, there we are. You've already said it. I see it nice and clear. Every detail looks good. Good. Glad to hear it. Looks good from here too. But then again, I'm a few. Oh, that's all right. If it looks good from a few thousand miles, I'm happy with that. As long as it looks good from somewhere. No, it just as I turned it round to see it, I was quite pleased. Sometimes you do a carving and you're not sure, and when you see it, you think, yeah, that is working. We're getting somewhere. Right. I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to turn it around to show everyone for now. That's where we've got to on that suspension bridge. But it hopefully as well, hopefully it gives you all an idea for how the scroll saw and the hand carving together, they're a great combination. They give us the opportunity to make so many different things, and they really do work together well. So hopefully that gives you an idea for just how accurate that Hegner scroll saw is. Because I know we've had people saying, you know, at different times they don't like the Hegner, and that's fair enough. You don't like something, you don't like something. But for ourselves, it's just that accuracy, that precision that you get with it. It really does help me. Before then, we're going on to the hand carving. It's fantastic in terms of the preparation. This is a Lovespoon where all the different aspects have been challenging. Thanks, Mum. That's Mum bringing me in a cup of tea, keeping me going. So that's Mrs. Thomas the Woodcarver. So yeah, it just gives you so much, such a good platform to do your hand carving from. This one here, this is one of my favourite gouges I'm working with. You'll notice it's quite a bit larger than some of the others. But it's a lovely one, lovely cutting edge you get on this one. It holds its edge very well too, because that's something we don't often mention with the sharpening. There are a lot of gouges you can get a good sharp edge on, but they don't hold their edge. When looking for images, I try to find a silhouette first and work my way backwards, capture the essence of what you're carving, then add detail. Well, that is a very, very interesting comment, because we find, you know, through YouTube, and we find through what we're doing, it's interesting how a lot of yourselves, yeah, you're sort of like-minded in your approach, and quite often, like for instance, just something simple. If I'm looking for an image of a cat, I will actually do a Google search of cat silhouette, and then print out the cat silhouette, and then use that, and then evolve it and develop it and go from there. So that's exactly exactly to the letter the same method that we use. And as I said, for carving, I think having a silhouette is a really good starting point. A really good starting point. And the beauty nowadays is if with Google and things like that, you can get an image of everything and anything. Now, we just had a naughty piece come away there, but there we are. We're not going to worry about that. We can sort that out the same as we sorted out the bridge. I was going to ask I was going to see if it was a particular weakness, but it's not, because it's happened in a different area. It's just the deficiencies of the wood carver. You can see it moving there a little bit, but it's not going to be a problem. It's because this section as well, it is delicate work that we're undertaking here. You know, ideally you'd have that bar thicker. I do believe as well there were a lot of different things with this Lovespoon, and I think there was a bit of a limit when it came to how big we were working to, although I may be wrong on that. That may be wrong, but I think I was working to a size limit. So that makes things a little interesting too, shall we say. There we are. I've done scroll saw project and pattern making, but not do any carving yet. I'm still watching and learning from what I see. Well, that's the nice thing, is to be able to, with your scroll saw projects, so for instance, one method we use is we do like line art, and that's sort of the reverse for us in regards to, I use scroll saw cuts, and the other one is the intarsia, isn't it? And I've done a number of videos, so these will be coming up on the channel, where we do a number of the different videos and we demonstrate the stuff. So we got these projects coming up, and what I do then is I use, and this is something that I've been sort of learning and teaching myself, is how to use the scroll saw to replicate what the carving does. But what the carving does with your scroll saw projects, even if you can just learn some simple carving, it just adds an extra element to the scroll sawing that you've done, and it does add, you know, for instance, even if you can just carve an eye on a project and things like that. But the main things, you know, with wood carving, the main principles, you want some good gouges, good sharp gouges, preferably vintage ones if you can get hold of them. That's our own personal preference. And you're working as much as you can with the grain. So there now, I'm actually carving across the grain, but you kind of steal it. You just try and roll the gouge so you are still carving with the grain. So that's what you want to do as much as possible. And then when you mark out your projects, which you probably already do because you're scroll sawing, you mark it out with a vertical grain. Yeah, spot on what Stephen's saying. Go for it. It takes me about 2 days to do what I can do. But the thing is that, yeah, when it comes to, that's one thing you will find when you sort of start with carving. I mean, I grew up around it, but when I first started taking carving more seriously, like I learned carving a simple little flower, which I demonstrated a number of times. And the first time I did it, I would look at one of Dad's flowers and I'd be mesmerized. How does he get all of those angles so perfectly straight? And I'd look at everything that he did and I'd be like, there's no way. It's just unbelievable. How does he manage to do that? Get all of those angles absolutely perfect. And then about 10 years later, I'd say, can you carve a flower on there? And he'd go, yeah, no problem. So he carved the flower on there for me. And I'd be looking and going, how can he not see that that's not square? And what it's the eye just gets used to certain things and it progresses. But where you've got an advantage over most, you've got those transferable skills because you'll already have that eye developed from doing the scroll sawing. And so that's really helpful then. It's there's another channel as well. If anyone hasn't had a look, we mentioned the Carver's channel. We also mentioned Stephen's channel. He's got some great content on there, some really fun videos to have a watch through. And anybody who's one of the ones that I enjoyed actually, Stephen, and I was talking to the car. Your ears must have been burning. Me and the Carver, we were talking about your channel because I said you got, and it's a fantastic video where you rigged up your whole workshop with what I used to refer to almost like a dolly, like a dolly slider. So you had a whole system going where you could move the camera into all these fantastic different positions in your workshop. So yeah, anybody interested in all the filming and that side of it as well, get across and have a look at that video. It's a good watch, a really good watch, and some fascinating content on there. And again, it's nice to link up. We're all on Instagram as well. So you'll find the Carver on Instagram. You'll find Stephen's on Instagram as well. And myself. So it's always great to hear from people on there. And on that note, Thomas the Woodcarver's walking back in.
Yeah, it's ready for inspection.
You making progress?
Yeah, all spread out.
If it's ready for anyone like a council inspection, I was watching and they were working on that one bit of road. They've been there all week. They're still there. Still got their lights. They got still two of them standing there to change the lights. One presses the button, the other one talks to him.
You'll have to put the camera on it for inspection though, right?
No problem. When we get a chance.
When you get a chance.
Here we are. Now we get the ultimate feedback now. We're going to have the feedback of Thomas the Woodcarver. We've had some great feedback from everybody else. So Thomas the Woodcarver is now going to give me some feedback on my Clifton suspension bridge. So what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on the suspension bridge? And I'll check out what I missed on the comments.
It'll pass with a push.
It'll pass with a push. That is high praise. That means, that translates in Thomas the Woodcarver language of, that's amazing. I've missed a few comments here. So the scroll saw cuts under the bridge, do you sand away, leave or carve out? Right. Sorry, I've lost track here. I'm going to be catching up for a few seconds. Have I missed any comments above there? Let's have a look. When I look for an image of the front silhouette, so I didn't miss any comments. So let's scroll back down and try and catch up with Edward. Why are you not letting me scroll down? Now you are. Right. So when it comes to these cuts, we use the blade we use, and again, I got no association with them. We use the Niqua Speed reverse turf number 9 blade. It's so good. We scroll saw it. And the finish is that good that it is absolutely fine to leave as it is. And once we shellac it, it'll come up fine. That's how good it is. You'd have to go down to a really, really fine sandpaper to actually improve the cuts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Next, sorry, if you want to say something while I'm looking through here. I've done scroll saw pattern making, but I've not done carving yet. So I saw that one. Go for it, yeah. Workshop, I need something to draw up, yeah. And that's what we did, draw the design on the die. Asked to see some of my work, so I'm going to send some, yeah, that'd be great. We'd love to see your work, we'd love to see everyone's work. I'd never crossed my mind to use the scroll saw until I met Di. I can tell you that now sold on it, and it allowed a new dimension. Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because you could see when you would, the last one you were carving, you could see it was cherry. The scroll saw does leave a few burn marks on the cherry, but it does cut it fine. I found a folk out when I was art student 50 years plus ago. That was not the cast eye over my designs. Yeah, and Stephen with his doing some really nice spoons. Meeting the other carvers and creators has been best part. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the thing. We want everyone to start, YouTube and building the community.
What I would say with the scroll saw, it obviously is great for what we do.
Yeah.
But when we finish the Lovespoon, we just take the sharpness.
Well, yeah, if I turn it over, right, if you turn it over like that, so everyone can actually see what you're explaining.
Yeah.
So you can actually see some of the lines here where it turns round on the scroll saw. Also, the reverse tooth blade gives you a better finish on the bottom edge.
Reverse tooth blade there.
But even though it gives you a better finish than the standard tooth, it still leaves what you call the aris.
Yeah.
That's right, isn't it? So we will carve all of that out.
There, which is,
there we go.
There's a slight burn mark on that one. But
yeah, so that's the reverse tooth blade. So what you have, 6 teeth run in the opposite direction, and the other ones, and then the others run the other way. I was interested on Facebook. There's a group called Scroll Saw Patterns, and I haven't posted on there for a very long time, but I do still keep an eye out on, you know, what everybody's up to, that sort of thing. Just sometimes helping out a few that are starting, and they were asking about which way to put the blade in.
Yeah, I'm just going to put. I don't know.
And
this will be seen, won't it? So
yeah, so that's the bottom.
There, for instance.
Yeah, I tighten it up for 2 seconds.
That there now will be just
in case nobody can see it, what we do. Yeah. So for instance,
just take that sharpness.
What we will do in terms of finishing, we literally carve it away like that.
Well, that's a bit more than what I would have taken, but that's fine.
But everything we do, it's always the same. I carve a lot deeper than Dad. But that's what we do. So we finish it like that. But in terms of on the inside, it is such a good finish.
Yeah.
It is such a good finish off that scroll saw that no, it'll be absolutely fine.
It's a quirky personal thing.
Yeah.
That, you know, the Lovespoon, you're taking all the sharp edges off because you don't.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, you want it to be as smooth as you possibly can, like. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, and so that's the thing. Yeah, in terms of, you know, sharing work and stuff like that, it's always great to see everybody else's work, and we encourage everybody, you know, to share your work. If film your process, let us know as well, and we'll all get across to your channel and have a look at your videos, because everybody has different ideas. It's good to see everybody's methods, and it's good to share.
Yeah,
share what we're doing. It's nice to see other people's workshops.
You don't have to give your age away, but is there anybody there under 30?
I know. You never know.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because that's my concern, is that
a lot of skills. It is a concern, isn't it? A lot of skills being lost.
Yeah.
And we know we got Michael, who's just saying it. Keeps his 69-year-old brain. It keeps his 69-year-old brain working, and I mean that's it's a lot
good,
of it.
But it's concerning. I get the impression that not many people under the age of 30 now.
Well, I would have said that, but I last year in the workshop, I was starting to think, oh, it is a bit concerning that, you know, there's not the interest. But for instance now, I mean, Sammy will come in and he loves having a go at making stuff. Excuse me. And he loves doing a bit of carving. And again, we've had people in here that are younger and they're really interested in carving. They're really interested in making stuff. So I think you'll see, I think there'll be a revival in it. To be honest with you, I think there will be a revival.
You know, I'm not expecting it to go back to when I started my apprenticeship. I'm not expecting it to do that, but you know, to get an apprenticeship when I was young was very difficult. But there were
the carver said he started teaching himself to carve at 25.
There we are. There were hundreds, possibly thousands of young men. Today, now it doesn't have to be a man. It can obviously be a woman. So you know, man or woman now to do an apprenticeship, but it's just concerning that there are not many people, you know, in fact, when I served my time, it was sort of, some of the work was guarded by the carpenters, you know, because they were concerned if they showed too much, they'd be out to work themselves.
Oh, at different times. Oh, here comes the boy out.
There he is.
Here comes my eldest son.
It would be nice to think that there are people out there under the age of 30. Here we are. Coming in, sir. You coming in, Sammy?
Hello, Nico.
Okay.
Hello.
How was school today? Good, good. As long as it's been fine. You see what we're carving?
Yeah. Is this for videos where we can talk?
This is the live stream. You're losing your voice, are you? Oh, here we are, Stephen with it. I'm 30 years and 372 months old. Does that count?
Sorry, it doesn't count. No, it's a concern. I think it's a concern because, the workforce in the future, we have to think about...
well, there's a lot, I mean, because we get asked a lot here at our workshop. One of the things we get asked to do a lot, do you do workshops? Do you do days where people can come and do carving? And unfortunately, every time you get asked that, the answer is just a flat no. And that is because they introduced so many rules and regulations that it just wasn't worth us risking doing it.
Yeah.
And so the point I'm getting at is that a lot of skills from your generation, it's difficult for them to be sort of transferred to another generation because there are so many rules governing us now, stopping that happening.
I mean, the joy of the Lovespoon, of course, you don't have to be a skilled carpenter.
No, absolutely. The more rustic your spoon, the more authentic.
It's just, and again, this is more of a hobby turned into a business for us.
It was because we couldn't do anything else.
That's right. But it is just, it is, there's a little question if there won't be any politicians out there listening because they're all
having a party with Boris.
That's right.
Bring your own bottle.
It is just a...
And in Wales, they're all hiding in a bunker under the Senedd and in a barn.
It is just a little bit concerning that the apprenticeship scheme that we used to have... An interesting question. I know we have a number of people from America.
Yeah.
I wonder what the...
There we are. We put it
to
our American friends. I've always gotten the impression from others that carving was an old man's hobby. Good thing for me that I didn't agree with them. There we are. Well, that's coming from America. That's coming from the carver.
Yeah.
So that's I always love working.
So is there an apprenticeship scheme in America generally? I know there are different states.
Well, there we are.
Just wondering.
Interesting, isn't it? That's one for the carver and for Sawyer Rob and for Michael. Enlighten us. What's the state of affairs in America? Do you have like an apprenticeship scheme?
That'll be something for our homework there. We'll have to look up City and Guilds because I served my time and it was what we call City and you had your qualification was City and Guilds.
Yeah.
And you had sort of an intermediate, an advanced level and all that kind of thing. I just wonder, is it the same thing today?
Yeah.
Because I know they've cut back on apprenticeships.
Well, locally, see, locally, our local college then would be Pembrokeshire College, wouldn't it? Mm. Careful with the tripod there, Nico. Okay.
Is it actually possible to watch YouTube videos even if the YouTuber's still making it?
If they're still making... Well, this is live. So we're speaking to everyone live now, see? I stopped demonstrating in 2007 as it was too much red tape, insurance, etc. And it's exactly the same. That's what Stephen... He's in the north of England. He's in the north of England.
That's very interesting.
So he's saying the same.
Saying you can watch live stream videos even if they're still making it?
Well, if you go
We're making it now, see? She can show you.
Mummy, and she'll show it you on her...
Go and see the Mummy. Can we see...
On her telephone.
It live. She can show you.
Or ask Granny.
Yeah. So they can show you.
No, I want to stay.
You want to stay at... That's fine. Do you like doing carving, Nico? Yeah. There we are. Perhaps you can...
I do any carving in your live streams.
Yeah. We got any in there for him to have a quick go? There we are.
Okay, we'll set something up.
We're going to set something up. Gramps can do some carving with you. How does that sound? Yeah, that's exactly what happened with us, and it would have been around the same time, because originally the way Dad set up the workshop is if you wanted a Lovespoon, you had to come here, you had to work on your own. He would help you, and you would spend time here with
Look
him.
on this side, Nico. Be
And
careful of the
that's
wires,
basically, yeah, how it would work. And you stopped that in the mid-90s, didn't you?
There we are.
So that's when Dad finished with the
There we are. There's it.
with doing
There, look. Try to take your coat off.
with helping people to make their own spoons.
There we are. Good stuff.
And then from there, that's when we just said, well, because we originally didn't used to sell the spoons, you would have to make your own, but it just became
We got
something that we could see was going to cause us problems.
a little one there.
Too much red tape.
I get your mallet. There's your mallet. Okay, you catch hold of the mallet. And I'll catch hold of this one in your other hand. See? The only thing is you're left-handed, aren't you? But it doesn't matter.
He is. Nico's a left-hander.
Stop there. Stop there now. Go back now and cut a bit more.
Here we are. I gotta give you all a little look at this one.
No,
Here we are. Now we've got a bit of feedback on it. I wish I had the experience when I was younger. I don't know anymore anyone that carves. I used to make scrimshaw, the horns, and carve.
I'll use
I
my
did some inlay. I make my own clothes.
left.
No guilds I'm aware of, but there are clubs scattered across the country. When I attended a wood carving group, I wasn't allowed to touch a thing because I needed a safety course. There we are. I love butternut wood, yeah? I'm a retired custom furniture. Make it. The only carving I've done is to recarve doors, etc. Yeah, that I've had to cut damage out. So it's interesting. It's not a million miles difference from the way it is in the UK. I pause because we're gonna go across the other side of the bench. We're gonna move this camera.
Let's get you on mallet again now.
Here we are.
There we go. Back. That's good. Now we're carving into the middle again.
Hopefully we're back. Sorry about that. 2 seconds. Something went wrong with the.
Whoa.
Something went wrong with the feed.
Same again.
Let's just see. We are still here. I'm hoping the camera will come back on. There. We're back. Sorry about that. We're back on. Nico's
Lovely.
carving away.
Back again. Is your arm aching now?
Yeah.
Here we are. So Nico's doing some carving on the bench for us. There we are. That's Nico. For everybody, that's the next generation there.
Come on then.
So how are you finding it? Do you know the wood that you're using, Nico?
No.
Well, what colour is it?
Brown.
Brown, yeah.
Yeah,
And
let us know.
it's like a reddy brown, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, catch hold of the gouge properly. With your left hand, that's it. Chisel in now. That's good. That's good. We go to the centre, look. There we are. You can see the start of the bowl. Will this be for your girlfriend?
I don't have any.
Oh, I don't blame you. There we are. You're all right, Daddy. Nico hasn't got a girlfriend.
There we are.
There we are. Right hand again with a gouge, with a mallet.
There we are. So tap, tap, tap.
That's it. Back again now. Back again. That's a good boy. Well done.
Let's try and get in.
Well done.
Same this side now. Nico's looking to see how much progress he's made.
Is your arm aching?
Yes, it keeps aching.
There we are. Let's try and get in.
And I know this is even more difficult because I'm handed on this hand.
Yeah, Nico is
Nico's
left-handed.
So that proves the challenge too.
That's fine. We stop there, halfway line. Go back again. So Gramps help you out. There we are. I'll carve it now a bit more for you.
We got a question, Nico. Is it more fun than school?
Yeah.
Watch out, because it can't see it. That's it.
No, I'm going to go left-handed, okay? Because Nico's left-handed. So what we would do, we would turn it round, and then we'd carve it out a bit more. Now this wood, as you said, it's reddy brown in colour.
Yeah.
And it's called, begins with the letter M. What do you think it is?
What words begin with M, Nico?
You heard Daddy talk about it.
It grows a long, long, long way away from here.
Mahogany.
Well done.
Mahogany, yeah, that's it. It's a piece of mahogany.
Why can't we use any wood from the Joshua tree?
Oh, we haven't got any in like that.
Why?
There we are.
Why can't
So
you
you
go
can see
all the way
that's-
to the desert and chop some Joshua trees down?
Right. So, I'm gonna. Well, there we are. No, we don't. We tend to recycle what we use, see, Nico. So we get it from old furniture that nobody else wants. Hopefully,
There we are. We'll pass this over to you now, dear.
back across on the other side of the bench now.
There's Nico's spoon.
There we are. Right, I'll just refocus, and we're back there. There we are.
There's Nico's spoon. There we are. Show your spoon, Nico.
Tripod. There we are. So that's Nico, and that's Nico's spoon. Hopefully, we've managed to get back across. Right, watch the tripod. There we are. I've just checked that we're still on. Yeah, and you can see there's Nico's Lovespoon. So he's done a bit of work with Gramps on that one there. So there we go. So that was you, Nico. That was you live on YouTube for us. Right.
Come on, Nico.
There we are. You take your spoon and go and show Mummy. And I'm gonna carry on working on this one here. There you go. Right. Let's have a little look. Have I missed any there we are. Stephen said, wow, Nico looks like a small die. I look very similar to the milkman. Do you think he's named after the blades they used?
Nico.
Nico, yeah. My dad made and repaired shoes, so he taught me leather work. It's amazing though, see, because this is, I mean, basically what we're talking about with, you know, learning and keeping skills going. That's how we grew up. We grew up around the workshop, and I remember at quite a young age doing different demonstrations and being in and around the workshop, and that's just how we grew up, really, wasn't it? Yeah. Had the opportunity, and it was great. And my other son, he comes in and he has a go as well. And it's always it's nice to have them in and around the workshop. I think with a lot of work now, quite often, you know, it is you don't have the opportunity to have the children around them when you're working, isn't it? So we're very, very fortunate from that front.
Now Sally wants to be part of the live stream.
Well, I get. There we are. Did you see the spoon? I tell you what you can do for us with that one, Sammy. Do you want to do some little bit of work with Gramps on it?
Go on then. Put it in the vise.
There we are. So we've had Big Brother in, now we've got Little Brother in here. And whilst he's working over there, we'll show you now how he's getting on. But we're just continuing to shape our lion. and
There we are.
making progress on our
Show
spoon.
them Sammy do
You
it.
stop now, think. Now this is how you hold it. Let me show you. Like this, like that.
Show Sammy on the video.
And that's how we go. So
Have we
hold
missed
it properly.
anything there?
That's it. Hold it in his hand.
Teaches kids safety and patience. Yeah, now there's a really interesting one.
Whoa.
There's a really interesting point. In terms of learning,
And again.
now Dad
Not too hard.
is working with both of them, so they're in and around myself and Dad. And the interesting thing is that what it allows them to do, it allows them the opportunity to learn how to do it and to learn how to do it safely. And so it's that aspect of it
There we are. Lovely.
where they're getting the experience of doing the carving, but doing it safely, cutting away from
Bit
themselves,
harder. Good boy. And
making
again.
sure both hands are behind the blades.
Your hand is a. You know what? You know what it is. You boys have been working so hard today in school that your arms are already aching. Have you been doing a lot of writing in school?
Yep, I have.
Did you do a lot of writing today, Sammy?
No.
Did you?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was half the whole
Good
thing.
boy. Well done.
Right. I did half of the
We turn it
day.
round now.
Right. Grant, half of the day I was right.
There we are. So hopefully you can see now as well. You can start to see that one taking shape.
There we are. We go back towards this way now.
The entire
And
day.
I'm going to stop there and I'm going to just watch out for that gouge there, Nico.
Well done.
Let's try and go.
Same again now.
Hopefully now.
Oh, you mean this gouge?
Let's see if
You mean that gouge that I just got back
Right.
up?
Bit more.
There's Sammy working away
Lovely.
just over there.
Can
There
I?
we go.
Can I?
Same again now.
Go on. Can you show me again in the camera?
Well done.
So you can see him just in the corner
Bit
there,
more there now.
working on the other side of the bench.
Look at this.
There we are. That's not a bad bowl now. I'll show Daddy and see what he thinks.
Right, so if you, send it back across.
There we
So
are,
that's
Daddy.
the two boys, that's the next generation doing the carving. And there we are. That is where they got to so far. Sammy needs to go and wash his face. I don't know what he's been eating, but it's
It's a pot.
let's
Well
have a
done.
little look. Yeah, so we're still with you. I don't know what happened the first time. It must have pulled on the cable slightly. So that's what that's what Dad's basically been doing with them. He's showing them how to do the bowl, and they're working towards that centre line. We've got the vertical grain, and they're carving in both directions.
Where's your coat?
There we are. Well done, boys.
Uncle Matt's work with those chippings.
They're off out to the car park to check that they've done the job out there. So, in the meantime, we are still just shaping away on the lion, on our English lion. So they've gone out now to investigate in the car park. The interesting thing as well that you see with them, they love being involved. They love having a job to do. And whilst they're doing stuff like that, they're learning skills. They're having the chance to try, see if they enjoy it, that sort of thing. And they're learning something without realising it. I always remember when I was in school, we did lino cutting. And my dad, my friend, he basically cut his hand, and I tried to stop him because I saw what he was doing, and because Dad had taught me how to do things properly, I knew he was going to have an accident because of the way he was doing it. It teaches kids that, yeah, absolutely. Hearing the boys in the shop is always a bit, absolutely, yeah. 3 generations in one shop, spot on. You don't see it very often, and now it's saved by YouTube. Yeah, absolutely. I've got some filming of the boys as well, doing carving, and I keep that there, so we've always got a record of that being done. Right, so we're just working on the mouth there. And that just goes down just like so. We'll work on, there's a little bit of work on the nose. Just like so. And we're just building up that shape as we're going along. So we go, and when it comes to as well, talking about with the learning carving, that side of it, a lot of it is just those simple basic processes that we learn as we're growing up, where you're doing the stop cuts, you're doing your detail work afterwards, that sort of thing. And you will notice through the live streams, you know, in terms of when it comes to the kit, there's mainly about 4 or 5 gouges that I'm mainly using. So Nico, you're going to tell everyone a little bit about what you did today. What were you doing in school? What did you learn? This could be a long pause. There we are. Sounds like a successful day. You learned nothing.
No, I haven't learned nothing.
Oh, that's all right.
I've been writing.
Yeah, what were you writing about?
So I've been writing about making up our own stories.
Very good. Good.
Like Minecraft characters falling into a portal that leads to another one of my games I have, World War Heroes, and then they just get killed and respawn because of the guns just blazing everywhere. Like, pew, 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 pew. They're like,
Oh dear. Dearie me.
because in Minecraft.
And what did you think? What did you think though, Nico, with the carving? Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
And do you remember what the wood was?
Yeah.
What was it?
I can remember.
You don't remember? Begins with a M.
Muddy tree wood?
Muddy tree wood.
Yeah.
Not quite. Mahogany. And that's what I'm carving here now, see, Nico?
Why are you saying all of you? All of the wood's been made out of...
All of the wood made out of mahogany? No, Nico, it's just today. That's what we've been carving. So Gramps did a bit of carving on a bowl with you that was a piece of mahogany, and I'm carving a love spoon that's a piece of mahogany.
It's made out of a piece
Right.
of mahogany.
So I think we're nearly there now, Nico. I think we've nearly finished carving our lion as well. At the moment with that paper, he looks like he's got a face pack on. So we just sand it all over. Did I miss a comment? Are the sound effects included in the story, Nico? You like the sound effects, don't you?
Yeah, that's my favourite part. Well, there were no
They've got a new. You've got a new toy, haven't you? I think it was Sammy's Christmas present.
Yes,
And
this teddy bear.
it's a teddy bear, isn't it?
Everything you say, and when you turn it on, you could say hello, and then the teddy bear's like,
Hello.
hello.
It's been great fun, isn't it?
Yes, and if Daddy says it, the voice changes different to sound more like Daddy's voice. But when me and Sammy do it, and when Mummy does it, says something, it's like, hola, hello.
That's right. But we've been having lots of fun with it.
And what does the teddy bear sound like when you're doing it? Doesn't it sound like you?
It does a bit. And when Daddy has it, the teddy bear likes to sing, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yes, because you're always singing in it.
That's right.
And then when you're telling us something to do, you always turn the teddy bear on, so the teddy bear also says it.
Let's have a little look. Right, look at this, Nico. We're nearly there. We got to do an eye there and an eye just there. So we turn him round. There we are. We're making progress there. We've got the bridge. We got the bridge done, and we got our English lion. We got our hot air balloons. We got our date. So I would say we are well over half the way. We've also carved out all of this very intricate, leaf-shaped bowl. So we're making some very good progress on this Lovespoon now. I think we'll definitely demonstrate the entwined hearts, and it's a case of whether we're going to get time to do the dragon as well. Those are some of those sound effects you can hear in the background being provided exclusively by Nico. It's a live stream exclusive. So we're just to start off. See what I've done. We've gone round the outside, get that basic outline round the outside. We're going to entwine the hearts. So we do the stop cuts. So those basic principles again. Get those stop cuts done in the design, and then afterwards we use the stop cuts to get depth on the carving. So that one needs to come around there. We then use this one like so, to curl around there, and another one like so. There we are. And a little bit of depth to the carving. So were you playing any games in school today, Nico?
Yeah.
What were you playing?
Like with the big cubes and we were attacking the Legos.
You were the big cubes attacking the Legos?
Yeah.
Oh, sounds serious stuff.
Yes, it was a wall.
Oh dear.
Legos versus cubes.
Oh
We're
dear.
not allowed to do the little cubes anymore because Mrs. Bell's tired of just getting them. They're just getting laid everywhere.
She's fed up of tidying up, is she?
No, she's fed up of them all over the place because she doesn't tidy up really.
Oh dear. Right, so we're just getting that entwined heart. Just getting the depth done on it. Just like so. So you're just creating that effect that those hearts, that they're all entwined together. Diana, the boys will have fond memories in years to come. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The first time I remember sort of being in the workshop, and it's changed quite a bit since then, was when I was about four years old. Mum was a teacher, so she went back to teaching when I was 3. I don't remember that, but I do remember being in the workshop with Dad at the age of 4 years old, and it was always just an interesting place to be. And the earliest experience, for instance, because we give a talk and demonstration based on the Lovespoon traditions, my earliest memories of that would have been at the age of 16 doing that one there. So giving a talk and a demonstration to a group of people. Basically Dad had gone out and a coach group turned up unexpectedly, and I gave them a talk, and yeah, the rest is, as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah, just to explain, I don't know if you could explain what I was doing with the chip-ins.
With the car park, yeah, we explained a bit about it.
We are hoping that
We're hoping that
people will return.
Yeah, we're hoping that this year will be better than the last 2 years in terms of seeing people. And if so, it's getting the car park ready, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
A car park that has been, a bit quieter over the last 2 years. But the workshop hasn't. I think the workshop, we've been busier with doing different things that we do.
Direction, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
We've been doing all sorts of different things. Let's have a little look. So we've got that heart there. I'm going to turn this one round. What's your thoughts on it now?
It's I'm pleased with that.
It's coming along, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's coming along.
You did explain the difficulty was the bowl of the spoon, really.
That was a challenge.
You know that.
And in the end, I did what you said. I just carved the whole thing back out, and then put the detail on afterwards.
Yeah.
There's different methods we use. See, a lot of the time I try to keep, like I'll use the paper drawing and keep the details. I'll use that to do the stop cuts. But on some of the carvings, it just doesn't work. I remember doing a demonstration where I was doing the globe, the world, and I was trying to put all the detail on and then give it its depth afterwards. And it's the same with that one. I was trying to put the detail on and then give it its depth afterwards. But you need so much depth on a bowl that I just did the bowl depth first, then put the detail. But you got to try different methods sometimes to get to the result that you want to get to. Right, let's have a look. We're well on with this one now, though. It's starting to really take shape. I don't know, do you want to put a coat of shellac on there? What do you think?
It certainly would be nice to put a coat of shellac on.
I think to finish off,
highlight it, wouldn't it?
I think to finish off, that's what we will do. We put a little bit of shellac on the another little job that Nico can do with you did. We get Nico to put a little bit of shellac on our bridge and on our lion, just to see how it comes up. Right, let's have a little look. We've got to just go around. We've got to bevel the edges. Same across the other side. Bevel the edges just to give it a nicer finish. That's more of a style that we use as opposed to it being a, you know, a method that you must use. That's just the method that I use. Just like so. Use that little one there just to again bevel this one.
This might be a bit of rest for people if they're. I don't think we've done this.
Which one's that?
Well, the fact that we use the shellac. We've said that.
Yeah.
But the shellac that we buy, it isn't expensive. It is what it is. But
it's got a lot more expensive, isn't it?
It has become more expensive than it used to be.
Yeah.
But if you want to show everybody the shellac we use,
yeah,
no connection with this firm. Just
yeah.
There we are. That's the one we buy.
Be difficult
gallon.
to get it in focus, but that's the 5 litre.
That's what you can see. Show that we got a little bit left in the bottom of that.
Yeah.
That's the.
There we are. You'll be able to see that one hopefully a bit better. That's the 1 or 2 litre. 1 litre, that is.
If you notice, just shake it up in front of the camera so they can.
Well, yeah,
see.
you get it's in 2 parts. So the first thing you have to do when you're using shellac, you have to shake it all up.
Yeah, so you have to mix it up like so.
I'll hand it on to you to
and
shake it a bit more.
What we do, we pour that from that container into
like a jam jar or honey jar size pot.
So you're only then using a little bit, because with this shellac, it if it's left out in the open, obviously
it only lasts.
It doesn't last very well. So we keep it sealed, and then we use a little bit. I don't know if anybody else does that sort of thing as well. So there's your brush there, your shellac.
Yeah.
If you want to put a coat of
Well,
shellac
tell you what we do. Look, we just go around the tops of here.
Okay.
And I think that'll be us done for.
On the joy of this, you can put the shellac on at this stage, and it's not going to harm it.
No.
But the first one is just filling the grain, really.
That's right. You're raising the grain, and
Yeah.
right. You boys, do you want to come and do a job? Nico, Sammy, do you want to do a quick job for us?
Okay.
Okay. Right.
Oh, this should be
That's the end of the carving. Gramps has prepared the brush. Have you, Gramps?
Well, as best I can, yeah.
As best you can. Now all I want you to do, boys, come back. All I want you to do is blow that away.
A little dab like so. You want then, Nico can do the first one.
Nico can do it then. What I want you to do, Nico, is to just paint a little bit of shellac
There we are.
on our bridge up and down with
There's
the
your
grain.
bridge.
So see the
on
lines?
that part there.
That's it. See the lines of the
On
grain?
this part here.
Up and down like that. Paint it on that. That's it. That's it. I forgot, of course, you're left-handed. Up and down like that. That's the way. Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's great. Now, Sammy, do you want to come and do the lion? Do you want to come and do the lion? Look.
I want to do this scooping bit up,
Oh.
okay?
Oh, that'd be good if Nico could do the
Yeah,
bottom bit.
you
as
can do
well
the
then.
bowl.
There we are. You can do the lion, Sammy, alright?
Right, I just have to get that. I'll just have to move that tripod 2 seconds. I'm hoping that it's still. Oh, it should be okay.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Let me give him a dip.
I think it's still enough on there.
Is enough on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, up and down
On
on
the
the lion,
lion.
on the lion, up
That's
and
it.
down, up
Go-
and
go
down.
for it,
Go
Sammy.
for it. Yeah. No, not across. Up and down. That's it. That way. That's the way. No, not across. Up and down. That's the way. Because we've got to go with the grain. With the grain. Up and down. Up and down.
Up and down.
You're doing well. That brings back memories of you telling me not across the grain. Not across the grain. That's it. Up and down. Good.
Well done. Brilliant.
You know, it does bring
You
back
got
memories
onto
of
the
when-
bowl.
Now, Nico, you want to do the bowl, yeah?
Yeah.
Come on then.
Daddy,
Yes,
Come and do the
please.
bowl.
Daddy, did you know what?
Daddy
you
hold
fix
it. Give me
this
another.
one?
Let me have another dip.
I think there'll be enough on there. Swap
sure?
over, Sammy. Swap over. And then up and down like that, Nico. Up and down like that. Okay? Up and down in the bowl.
This was always the nice bit because it sort
me
of
swap it round
started to bring the colour of the wood out,
down.
and it starts to take
Up and
shape.
down.
then.
Up and down. That's the way. Up and down. That's the way.
Well done.
Good. That's a perfect job that you've just done there, Nico. Exactly right. Good job. Well done. That's fine.
You can see the colour of the
Good.
wood now. How it brings
Here we
that
are.
colour of the
we-
mahogany out.
Excellent. Well done, mister. And then
What
we just
happens
show
if you
everyone.
accidentally touch the piece of the paper?
Ah, don't worry. It's not too bad. So you can see we've got the bowl, we've carved out, and now it's been brought out with the shellac in. You've got the lion taken shape there, and then the Clifton suspension bridge as well with the hot air balloons and the dates. Thank you all for joining us. Hopefully that's interesting. We've got that. That's a lot thinner than the shellac I use. I think it might be time to switch brand. Yeah, we find some really good shellac. And it's
Fiddy's is good.
Fiddy's
yeah.
shellac. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is really good.
Yeah.
How do you mix needs for oil and beeswax for a final finish? Yeah, this is something we get asked time and time again. Right, here we are. Have you got the beeswax?
You'll get it for you now.
Okay, we'll demonstrate that one to finish off, so you can see that we got those ones there. Dad will go and get the beeswax, because this is something we get asked time and time again, and it always seems like it's a complicated one, and it's a lot more simple than it sort of seems when it comes to the oil. So I'll get a spoon. Bring it, Dad. If you can bring a spoon as well.
Okay, I'm looking for the beeswax.
Beeswax.
It's on the bench there.
I was using it on the weekend.
So it'll be on the bench here somewhere.
I can't see it on the bench. Am I looking straight at it? Okay, we can't find our beeswax, so let's just explain it. Dab some oil on the brush.
Where did you
Rub
use
it
then?
on the pot. Rub it on the pot of in the pot of beeswax, and rub it onto the spoon, and that's it. That's as much as we do, because you've got the finish with the shellac, and then you just, as I said, a dab of oil rub it on the beeswax, because all you're doing, you're making the beeswax a little bit more liquid. Otherwise, it'll clog up all the bits of detail. But what we try and do, we try and find the beeswax for next week, and we'll demonstrate it for you all to see. But just give us a little reminder. But yeah, quite a simple process that we use. Thank you all. Yeah, it's time for another brew. Time for some tiffin. Thanks for joining us, and hope it was interesting. And as always, we'll be back again soon. All going well. Hope you all have a great week. Thank you.